couple of years ago I did a short video on what was at the time the cheapest router on Amazon and how it had stood up to 2 years of hard use in my workshop. We're a couple of years on from that and I thought it was time to update that video. And the router in question is this small Katsu trim router. Now the box has had a little bit of hammer, but luckily the router itself is still doing very, very well. And I'll start by just going over the very basic and simple to understand controls. There's a speed control on the top of the unit and a simple on-off switch on the side. To adjust the depth of cut, you just flick that lever open and that slides up and down. There's a very handy spindle lock included and a spanner comes with the router for locking your cutters in place. The router comes with an adjustable fence that simply attaches and locks in place with the use of that thumb wheel. And there is also this profile edge guide that attaches the same way. It also comes with a dust extractor port, which can prove useful. It's not something I really use a great deal, but when you need it, it's a good thing to have. In terms of its performance over the 4 years that I've had it now, I'd have to say it's been pretty much faultless. Very, very little has gone wrong with this, and what has gone wrong has been very easy to sort out. After having it about 6 months, the adjustment became very stiff. The base unit was binding up against the router body, but a simple application of some bicycle chain dry lube onto that sorted it right out. And the only other thing I've had to do is I had to tighten this little nut in here a couple of weeks ago because it wasn't locking in position properly, and that is literally it. The only other thing that is becoming a little bit of a problem is in its standard form this router has quite a small footprint, and it can be the case if you're trying to do some wider routes, it can become very tippy. So to help with that situation, I've made an extended acrylic base which does an amazing job, makes it much more stable. However, to fit that you have to take out these 4 screws, and repeatedly doing that has meant that one of them has stripped out a little bit and it doesn't tighten up properly. I would imagine that if I keep going with that, all 4 screws are going to strip. I'm pretty sure that could be very easily sorted out by drilling out the holes, re-tapping them and fitting larger set screws. I have to say, when I bought this 4 years ago for 40 quid, I was expecting to replace it at some point. I was surprised that it made the 2-year mark. I'm even more surprised that it's made the 4-year mark. But apart from those few minor niggles, there's nothing wrong with it. Seems to be running fine. I haven't checked the brushes, but there doesn't seem to be any issue with them, and there is a spare set in the box, so they can be changed if needed. When I initially bought this 4 years ago, it was £44. They are currently selling on Amazon for £43.98, so it's actually gone down very slightly in price. But I'd have to say it is worth every penny of that, and if you are in the market for a small trim router, I would definitely recommend this one. It's handled everything that I've thrown at it over the last 4 years and looks like it will carry on doing so for quite a long time. So I'll leave a link in the description for where you can find this on Amazon. I'm not in any way affiliated with them, so I won't make any money out of it. These are just my genuine thoughts on how good a bit of kit this is for the money. So if any of you out there have got one of these routers, feel free to leave a comment on what your experience has been. Don't forget to hit the like button if you found this review useful, and it would also help me out a great deal if people hit the subscribe and notification buttons at the same time. And I'll look forward to you joining me on future videos. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye bye.